Hi, welcome back to another episode of Pink Diaries. So excited to have with us today an amazing Oklahoma artist, Anthony Pago of Vibrant Women of Oklahoma.
Hi, guys.
Yes.
And with me, also my amazing co host, my inner works coach, and my friend, Lala Asif.
And this is my friend and my co-host Veronica Ray with Jigsaw and Associates.
Hello.
Thank you for coming, Anthony.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
Yes.
This is
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about who is Anthony Pago.
fun. I'm a local artist. I was born in Oklahoma City, and I was here until I was about high school, age. I left high school early, and it's a whole long story. But after that, I became an artist down in Austin, Texas, studying oil painting, music, photography, graphic design. Went to New Orleans to continue the music stuff. Lived there for a couple years. Went to San Diego, continued doing art, making art. Came back to Oklahoma City around 29 years of age. I'm 38 now. To kind of see what happened with the MAPS project. I told you a little bit about my stepdad being involved in
Yes.
that. So I wanted to see it come to fruition. I had seen a lot of the architect's plans, and I just really knew I needed to be back by then to see what was going on. So yeah, I came back, and I've been hammering at the artwork ever since. Doing lots of painting, stuff like that.
Yes. And the MAPS project has been a very amazing and transformational project that has happened here in Oklahoma City. That's
Yeah.
really kind of brought our city to what it is now. So,
Yeah, it really is. I haven't seen a city support arts, even the big ones I've lived in and been around, support the artists like Oklahoma City does. There is not the kind of I'll say hoity-toity, but the exclusionary kind of attitude that a lot of places will have. They'll say, well, we need to see a number of your previous shows have been successful, or what degrees do you have? And
Right.
here you honestly just have to talk to a gallery owner or the people, just throw out an invite, and the artist will come and support you. So
that's really
I love this
awesome.
city for that. And the MAPS project has everything to do with that.
And we were not recording at that time, so would you want to tell us a little bit about MAPS?
My stepdad, Rick Moore, was the assistant mayor for to Ron Newark back in, this would have been the late '80s, early '90s. It was during the bombing, the Oklahoma City bombing, and they traveled around the country and the world doing sister city programs and stuff, seeing what programs other cities had put in place that revitalized or gave them growth. And they took the best things from each little city and talked to the mayors and developed their own plan. And my stepdad came up with the term MAPS, and then they implemented what they did. The half-cent sales tax at first, and then penny sales tax, and it just kind of continued. I think they're on MAPS 3 is being built right now, and I don't know if there's a MAPS 4 being voted on or anything, but it's been hugely successful.
It has.
The public have supported the heck out of it. It's offered a lot to us. It's not one of those programs where money disappears and nobody knows what happens.
Right.
I'm sure there are complaints. I know that there are some complaints, but those are minor compared to what you usually see in bureaucracy.
So how has it benefited like children coming up now? So, education is really important, but some children graduate from high school and their desire is not to go on and to continue into structured education. So, maybe they want to just come out and be an artist.
Yeah.
And so how has MAPS influenced our younger generation?
Well, MAPS has brought in a lot of programs that there's been funding allocated for arts programs in Oklahoma City, thanks to us having the ability to pay for our infrastructure and all that. We actually get to focus on culture. So I know personally, I've taken a mural class that the city offers. They actually require it for you to apply for city-based murals, and that's pretty much any mural you do in the city anymore. There's different zones, and different groups kind of deal with approving them or not. And there's 2 main bodies, and so you actually have to go through. It's not a very long course. It's not difficult. It teaches you how to go through the paperwork and the application processes, and it's just a wonderful thing, and it's funded by the city, and it's in large thanks to the revitalization that happened, and them planning the districts and wanting them to look and feel as good as the people deserve.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's kind of offered that. It's offered venues that are coordinated they're built they're built on the successes of other cities.
Mhm.
That's really what the MAPS program did. They also looked at the culture. They weren't just building buildings to attract new entrepreneurs, new oil men, new whatever, new engineers, and that's great that we have like new engineers and medical communities
Yes.
and things coming in. But you have to attract the artists or give them a place to
Right.
grow up as well.
That's right.
And so it's really offered that. The kids have a place where there are neighborhoods, districts that have, rules are necessary. It stinks
Yes.
that we have to have them sometimes, but it's a good thing for, in this case, you can put together programs to teach the kids how to navigate through. It's frankly quite difficult to be an artist anywhere, and when you have the support of the community and programs in place to help you navigate those rules and know what the possibilities are, it's so much easier.
Oh,
So,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I met Anthony on Vibrant Women of Oklahoma
Mhm.
at 1219.
Yeah, 1219
And
creative.
those were some amazing paintings.
Thank you.
I hope
Yes,
you all
they
get to
were.
see them. We really tried. Maybe one day we can show those paintings.
Yeah.
Tell us about Vibrant Women of Oklahoma.
So Vibrant Women of Oklahoma, I did a series of, how many? I think there were like 29 paintings. I tried to get 30 and just like under the wire, couldn't get it done. But I asked for volunteers on social media and particularly women, and there was no qualifications other than that. And they came to me. I took photographs of them primarily in the Plaza District. I lived there, so it was easier on the gas money. But
Of course.
no, it's a beautiful place, and they're very
Yes.
supportive. They're hyper supportive of artists. They do
They are.
murals all the time, and I just love the people. Kayla Lewis runs that district. She's amazing, an amazing woman. And so I kind of wanted to include that with the photography aspect of it. I was posting that on my social media and giving access to those photos to all of the volunteers, the models, so they could do whatever they want at no charge, of course. And then I used my favorite of those photos to base the paintings on. And the series was both a mixture of me trying to support, I guess, just women's rights movements or women in general, along with developing my ability to make portraitures, to paint portraits. It's kind of just a, I win, you win, we all win kind of situation.
That's right.
So that's what that was about.
Right.
Mhm.
They're awesome paintings.
So what has helped you to, I guess, establish this role of supporting women? Where does that come from?
My mother did an amazing job raising me. She went through a divorce, as many people do these days. She did remarry quickly, and like I said, Rick Moore, my stepdad, raised me. He was a wonderful guy, but like any normal family, there were issues in the beginning. I love him to death now, but we butted heads a lot. She was always there, always worked between us. She had to be the great negotiator.
That's right.
She taught me how to cook. She taught me how to be a self-sustained young man, and I'd like to think a very tolerant one. She had nothing but love in her heart. She was stern when she needed to be, but it was always with love,
Right.
never with hate. And so I had that going out into the world. I was stubborn. I left. I jumped out of the nest way too early, but I was able to survive and navigate that because of her. And then on my Native American side, from my biological father's side, his mother, Elsie, my grandma, she was a teacher and educator down in Purcell. At least that's where they lived. I need to look into that. But she was a constant advocate of self-education, self-improvement, to the point, I think I told you guys earlier, that she would sit me down at a school desk at her house and give me a bowl of Pac-Man cereal within workbooks, and I would just have to work through those worksheets, and that was fun for her. It wasn't fun for me,
Right.
but it really gave me a sense of what's necessary the skills necessary to do self-improvement through the years, despite not going through the typical education system. So yeah, I have both of those women to thank greatly for who I am as a man. And
Well, and we thank
Yes.
those women for you as well, because we need men like you. We need supporting men to support women's rights movements,
Yeah.
because men are still the majority. Yes.
Yeah, well, I think in population,
Yes.
we've got women actually have us beat out by just a sliver.
Just a
but,
sliver.
But
Just
in
a
all of
sliver,
the other
yeah.
aspects, it's not rounded out.
That's
when
right.
you go into the job sector and the
Right.
economic sector, and even like the judicial sector. I was just watching some stuff by Supreme Court Justice Ginsburg this morning, and she was talking about how there's a lot of progress made. We're headed in the right direction, but there's still a lot left to do.
That's right.
She's very encouraged, but there, all the other men who feel like that is something they can get on board with, should get on board with that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Anthony, what would you tell an emerging young artist who is scared for the choice he has just made, something that he knows he's blessed with, and this is the thing he wants to do? What would you tell them?
Well, what I usually tell artists when they come to me and ask how they get things done and how do I get involved, is simply to say yes. And that in and of itself is scary, but that can be translated to what you're talking about. In practical terms, that means if somebody comes to you and says, we've got room for you if you want to build a show next month, say yes. Don't sit there and hem and haw and say, I'll get back to you
Right.
tomorrow. If there's an availability and you have the interest to do something, then do it. Now, when it comes to, if you're talking on a more broad, in a more broad realm, like supporting women or creating art that does, that speaks to social issues and things like that, I would say it's still say yes, but it's more like be brave and say
Right.
yes. You're gonna get blowback no matter what you make. No matter what art you create, there are gonna be pockets of people
Right.
who don't like it. In fact, you're lucky if you have a lot of people, like a number of people who like it. Usually it's just a couple people who are like, that's amazing, I love your stuff, and you just move on to make the new thing. So you're always going to have some blowback, some negative comments. You just really got to step up to the plate. It's not easy for anybody doing anything. For women, acquiring their rights in the United States, or for artists just selling their
Right.
artwork or
Right.
getting noticed. I mean, getting noticed is as hard as anything else,
Oh, yes.
other than I'm fighting for basic human rights. I mean,
Right.
people are literally dying for that. But yeah, I think especially because people are having a hard time with those types of issues. If you have a skill, I think it's the most important thing to acknowledge it and use it for other important things. Feeding yourself is for sure important. Feeding your family is for sure important. But if you have the ability to work with other people while doing that, to work with other, monumental tasks, if you can progress whatever it is that you believe is the right thing, then again, I say yes and step up to the plate and get it done. So
Absolutely.
that's what I'd say to artists is just say yes and get it done.
And where can we find your art now?
Well, the name of my brand is Boo Science, so you can just look up Boo Science, BOO Science, online, and there's a multitude of places to find my stuff. The easiest place is just to find me, Anthony Pago, on Facebook. You guys
Yes.
know I
Right.
post a lot of political stuff,
He
a lot of
does.
art. Instagram, it's Boo Science. Twitter, it's Boo Science. There's actually BooScience.com that's getting renovated. I'm actually starting a new comic as of this week. I'm not going to tell you guys what it's about. I will say it's hyper political.
Stay tuned.
Hyper political, and it's also, it's funny. You were mentioning earlier
Yes.
that I like to make things fun, so it's not going to be a bunch of hate and turmoil and
Right,
anxiety. There's enough
right.
of that in the world.
Right.
So.
That's right.
Yeah, I really appreciate your Facebook posts because they are much more easier to understand, and it doesn't give you the anxiety that everybody else is trying to give.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the
So
goal.
thank you for that. That's right.
Absolutely.
Thank
I
you for that.
appreciate that.
Thank you for your boldness in being able to even put that out there. I mean, so absolutely, that's
Well,
wonderful.
what do I have to lose? I'm an artist. so
That's
I-
right. That's right. Yes.
Right.
So, Anthony, is there anything else that you would like to share with someone that may be watching? Maybe, as Lala had mentioned, an emerging artist, maybe just getting started, or someone who's looking for what it is, that area that they want to focus on. How you being involved in supporting women, and maybe someone is watching that wants to know what their area of influence is that they would like to start.
Yeah, I mean, because I like politics, I'm always going to lean towards the venues that have helped me kind of take that path, but it doesn't have to be politics. Showing up is really just the most important thing. So what I do constantly is I go to Facebook and I go to the events little section, and I do this like once a week maybe. I'll just scan through a month, 2 months worth of upcoming events that are being created every day. People are like deciding, okay, next week I'm gonna do something. Sometimes they're successful, sometimes they're not. But those things, if they're being attended, click that, I'm going, or maybe,
Right.
or whatever. Let people know. Show up, and the second you get there, start talking to people. You're gonna find people who are talking to each other, who are talking about what the event's about, or there's gonna be people interested in art even. I went to the women's rally, and there were people there talking about everything. And it wasn't just
Right.
women, it wasn't just angry people. There were, in fact, I didn't see anger there. I saw
Right.
some people who were from different realms who got together and talked about topics that they maybe butted heads on, but that was very rare, and
Right.
most of it was just supportive, loving messages.
Absolutely.
So I would say don't be afraid. Find those venues, find those events, see what's going on in the city. You have to integrate yourself, or you're never going to make any progress. You're never going to meet anybody. So attend those things, let people know you're coming. The second you show up, start talking to people. Don't be afraid. And those people will kind of like lead you down the path of figuring out which way you want to go. You're going to find out about future events from them, or what they're coordinating, or who they know. Here in Oklahoma City, it's still a small city, so you're going to go to 1, 2, 3 of those and see some of the same people,
Right.
and you'll
Yes.
start to understand the networks they work in, and who you want to work with yourself. So
Right.
that's really it. I mean, it's as easy as just showing up and talking to those people and figuring out where you want to be. So,
Right. Yes.
Perfect.
Well, we really appreciate your time and coming on and sharing your story with the rest of the world. Lala, before we finish, this is always the famous question. Is everybody ready? Lala, do you have any other questions?
No, I'm good. I'm just gonna have to arrange another meeting about your comic. I'm interested in that
Sure.
now, so we can meet again to talk about that.
Yeah, we can do
Wonderful.
It's a
that.
surprise, I guess. So we'll
Yes,
keep it surprise.
yes.
Yes.
So we'll actually have to have Anthony come back once he announces so that he can talk about that with you as
So
well.
we can support you.
That's
with
right.
your
We
project.
want
yeah.
wonderful.
yes.
We want to be there for you.
Yep.
Mhm.
We need a community supporting each
We
other.
definitely
That's right.
do.
Yes, in all things. So if this video has been helpful for you, if you know another artist who is looking to break through and have their art shown to the rest of the world, please make sure that you like, comment, or share this video. And if we don't have anything else,
Yes, we're good.
all right.
All right.
You all, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.